Hello everybody, I'm Random Bystander here, and this is my thoughts on the Air Riders Direct 2. Sakurai decided to release another Direct for Kirby Air Riders, and it was an hour-long Direct about a game that, at the time, I thought we knew a lot about already. There was a Direct about it beforehand. We learned about city trials and races and so much stuff already. I figured, what else is there to talk about, let alone for an hour? But if there's one man who can make an hour interesting and give us plenty of packed content for it, it's Sakurai. I reacted to it, and I took notes, actually, because there is quite a lot to talk about, especially if you are a fan of Air Ride. Now, keep in mind, I did not grow up with the original Air Ride. I did not play it on the GameCube. I am a Kirby fan who's only played Forgotten Land and a few other Kirby games. So this is my first experience with Air Ride and Air Riders, but I already was sold. Okay, the last Direct convinced me to get the game. What else do you got for me? And it basically started with Top Rider mode, where you're able to view the race of Kirby Air Riders in sort of this top view. It's basically a one-and-done race that can be done in a couple seconds to a minute at most. And it's very quick, easy, short burst race period of time, bite-sized races. They announced you can use regular vehicles with it. I guess you couldn't do that in the past, or were using specific vehicles. They said how each Top Rider race was inspired by regular courses from the game. And they also explained how it's up to 8 players, although Sakurai said he quote-unquote recommends 4, which, based on seeing the gameplay of it, I can see why it does look hectic with 4 players alone. 8 would probably make things super crazy. There's items like the Kaboom, Drift Flames. There's like a diorama style of Top Rider, which was shown for like a couple seconds. And it's played online. In fact, every mode, they made sure could be played online. That's really cool. Again, Top Rider mode seems fun, and it's a good third mode to go with 2 modes that were already explained. Because again, we knew about the original races where we were racing originally, and then there was city trial mode where we explore the city and find items and make our vehicle stronger, and then do like a mini game at the end. But now we have Top Rider mode too. Sakurai mentions controllers for a bit and how Switch 1 controllers can work, both the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller, and mentions how GameCube controllers for the Switch 2 also work. So if you want that classic experience, you can play it with Kirby Air Riders. I'm actually really looking forward to playing it with a GameCube controller. I have it. I love it. I use it for Switch Online. I'm very excited to use this for Kirby Air Riders as well. They also mentioned horizontal vertical screens, which is cool. Just little stuff like that. And then they get into Road Trip, which is essentially a mix of all-star mode and a story mode. They mentioned the story part later, but what they do talk about is how it combined all 3 of the modes into one, doing multiple stages, having rest areas, and there being route characters and bosses. I didn't quite understand the route characters. They just showed them off, and they seem to be cool bosses or areas that were in other Kirby games. Like there was a computer virus one, which looked really cool. There was one of the giant turtle from Forgotten Land. I'm not a big Kirby fan. I don't know all the Kirby lingo and stuff, but it's a lot of Kirby references, and Kirby Air Riders seems like the ultimate. It seems like a Smash Bros. Level of Kirby memorabilia and references all into one game. So if you are a huge Kirby fan, you're gonna love this game. And again, the Direct's barely started at this point. We still got a lot to go through. I have literally 11 pages of notes. The Road Trip seems to me like a roguelike at most, choosing which stage to go through and things like that. It seems rather fun, and again, a 4th mode to go with this game. I can see myself getting interested in it. Next, they have licenses, which is basically your gamer tag for Kirby Air Riders. It looks more like a credit card than it does a license, but it's a license where it shows your like ranking at the bottom. It shows your name, and you can decorate it as much as you can. You can add stickers, you can add colors, you can make them all colorful, and it shows just so many different colorful licenses on the screen, and it shows all the customizations you can do for the license alone. I love stuff like this. I love being able to customize like my individual tag Even if I don't always do it, it's cool to see other people's licenses and stuff like that. It's a nice thing to just make it be like, this is my card. This is a nice moment. They also showed the paddock, which is basically a huge lobby room where people can hang out while they organize races and meet up with friends online. There's this big TV where you can watch the races in a lower quality format. There's cake you can possibly eat and hang out with. It's just this chill area that's just really nice and fun to relax in. You could also play music too. That's really cool. Choose whatever music you want for the lobby. It's a nice little area. And it does the thing similar to Mario Kart 8 where you can choose predetermined things to say to others. I think it's much more expanded than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though, because you're able to just do so much more with it. And again, the vibes are immaculate. It just looks so cute and adorable, and it just screams Kirby. You could tell Sakurai put so much detail into a lounge area. Now lounge areas have gotten so much better and so much more customizable and so much more atmospheric. And this one is no exception. There might be a time where I just hang out in the lobby for long periods of time, just trying to meet up with people. Then they announced some new copy abilities for the game: Needle, Freeze, Sleep, Fighter, Drill, Flash, Missile, which looked really cool. A bunch of new copy abilities that were in previous games that are showing up here. I always love how it just shows new things in between, just not only to quicken the pace a bit, but just be like, hey, here's some new stuff, here's some new characters, here's some new copy abilities, go. And they have a lot of fun with it in this direct too. I was waiting for Parasol, but it doesn't look like we're getting that, or we may not get it right away. Who knows? Then Sakurai mentioned global wind power, and it's on the bottom of your license, and how it's not really about how good you are, but how many wins you've won. And it also shows classes where you get this colored shape on the bottom right of your card. But it also doesn't really, it's not to symbolize your ranking, it's to symbolize to just what category of game you play. Like each shape represents a mode in the game, and I actually really like that a lot. I don't usually like rank modes with things because I just get super intimidated and I'm worried that I'm gonna get my butt kicked and my rank will get lower, so I just play the normal version of games, for like Splatoon for example. But this seems like a lot less serious when it comes to an online game, and you're able to just have fun, play what you want to play. And the ranking's there, but it's not a big deal. It's just symbolizing how many races you won or lost in score-wise. Like, you're doing better than this person, sure, but there's no big thing with having to get to the top. There's no issue with that, and I really like it. It seems relaxing and great. Then they announced some new courses. Airtopia Ruins, Crystalline Fissure, that had a volcano and a crystal. Steam Gust Forge gives sort of like a steampunk vibe to it. That looks really nice. Then they had this question mark course. We don't really know what it was. It looks really apocalyptic and scary, and you're in this sort of lab. I was watching a few Kirby streamers react to it, and they were saying Heart of Nova. I have no idea what that is, or what it involves, or what game it's from, but it looks crazy. It looks like a fun race to race in. There's a giant heart, so I would understand if it was Heart of Nova. But I have no idea. I need to play more Kirby games. They also said courses from the previous games are back. You have a total of 9 courses from the previous game and 9 new courses. So you get a total of 18 race courses, which does sound small compared to Mario Kart World having 36 courses, but still, it's enough. It's enough because not only do you have those 18 courses, you also have City Trial. You also have Top Rider mode. You also have the whole story mode they just announced. That 18 courses is enough. It's fine. There's a lot of stuff already in this game that just makes it worth it. I'm just glad that I can play the original courses that I missed out on with Kirby Air Ride and play them with a new coat of paint. Just looking beautiful on the Switch too. They announced a swap relay mode, which I really like this mode a lot because you're able to start with some vehicles and then periodically your vehicle changes throughout the race and it keeps changing throughout. And I really like that because not only is it fun and chaotic, but it also makes it so you try out more vehicles and you're able to just get experimental with things like, oh, I got paired with this vehicle now. Let's see how this works. And you can see how it works with the character you're playing as. Or you could choose a new character and then do it again and then experience all the other vehicles. It's a really clever idea and it encourages experimentation. and it encourages the chaos. It's so much fun. Then they mention more city trial stuff, more items like speed up, the dizzy beam, which honestly looks really hilarious. Special up the mega cannon, which reminds me a lot of the Monado from Xenoblade, but it seems just as powerful because it directs this huge like cannon where you're able to control where it aims too. You also get boxes that give you a certain amount of items. Sandbag from Smash Brothers is just there, and that's pretty cool. A lot of Smash fans popped up with that. And then they have the Dragoon and the Hydra, which is split into 3 parts, and you have to find them together to make it so you can ride the Dragoon and Hydra. I didn't know this came from Kirby Air Ride. I knew it wasn't from Smash, obviously, but I didn't know it was a Kirby thing. I thought it was a Star Fox thing or something, to be honest. But no, it's from Kirby Air Ride, and it's nice to see it make a return. These seem like super powerful vehicles. I really like the look of the Hydra, personally. It looks really super sleek and dark and awesome looking. I love that a lot. The Dragoon's fine, but the Hydra was new to me, and I really like that a lot. And it's probably my favorite of the two. And they also announced team battles were basically work similar to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where it's city trial, but you're paired with people and you can work together. And if 3 people on your team find the Dragoon or Hydra, the last person who finds the last part gets the Dragoon or Hydra. And I really like that a lot. Sakurai is making it easier so people can play the game. I really like in general how Sakurai is focusing on making it so anyone can play his game. Like there's no barrier of difficulty. And again, that's going to be shown off later, which, by the way, there's still a lot more to talk about with this direct. He also goes on about how there's more stuff to see in City Trial and how there's stuff to explore, and there's an island in the distance. There's this volcano they show off that looks sick and amazing. God, again, City Trial looks so beautiful. This game looks so gorgeous. And honestly, just seeing the sights of everything looks amazing. I don't understand how people are like, hey, I'm not sure about getting this game. Because even before this direct, I was all on board. But now just showing this off, almost halfway through the presentation, there is so much content that makes it worth it for me. And we're still not done. They announced a bunch of new riders. This is something I was looking forward to because this is the equivalent of Smash characters getting announced in this game. They announced Taranza, which is like the spider character thing. I'm not sure where he's from, but he can use his webs to like grab things. Is really cool. Lololo and La 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 are these 2 circle beings that work together and ride together. They move similarly like the ice climbers, how one moves, the other follows. Apparently, it's been a while since they've been in the game at all, so it's nice to see them have some love. Daroche is probably the coolest one, who is like a thief mouse who's apparently from Squeak Squad, and he looks cool, and he has the ability to vanish and steal abilities. That's so awesome. I love how they incorporate his thief-like personality and turn it into an ability and mechanic. Plus, he just looks cool. Then they go through a highlight reel. Rocky, who's just Kirby as a rock, and he's absolutely adorable. Rick the hamster. I had a feeling he'd be in this because he's a pretty popular character in Kirby from what I can tell, but I'm glad he's there. Scarfy's there, that enemy that turns into a one-eyed monster that's terrifying. And then, speaking of terrifying, Marx is there. He looks like an adorable jester until he gets wings and turns into the devil as his special. That's really cool. Also, regular Waddle Dee. I was like, oh, I thought Waddle Dee was already in this. But no, that's Bandana Waddle Dee, and they are entirely different. It's kind of like Captain Toad to Toad. That's what my chat said anyway. They also announced the Transformer Star and new machines that were really cool. I love the vehicles that are there. Some looks like they were returning from Kirby Air Riders, according to previous reactions I watched, while others seem new. Again, more vehicles, the more the merrier. Then they go into this deep talk about the voices, which at first I thought, oh, they were going to voice characters in the game, and it's going to be like Xenoblade, where everybody yells. No, they talk about... First, Sakurai talks about how the vehicles almost sound like they have a voice, but then he actually talks about the narrators and the announcers. There are so many options. Each language gets 2 different voices to read. So it seems like one's male, the other's female. Like one of the Japanese narrators is the voice of Kirby, which is really cool and a nice touch. They went through a montage of like they were announcing characters and vehicles, but they did it with the voices. And I thought that was really funny and that made me laugh. And it also showed off that there's so many languages in this game now. That's incredible. And there's Time Attack, where it's basically you, as Sakurai puts it, compete against yourself to get the best time. There's no enemies. You can't use any specials. There's a ghost you can follow that shows your best time, but it is essentially you trying to compete against you. And I really like that there's no online pressure or anything like that. Because even Mario Kart World with the time attacks, you still compete against the best person who goes through so many stupid ways of trying to get their time up that seem relatively impossible. But with Time Attack, it's just you have to worry about, unless you look at other people's YouTube videos. But don't worry about that. In this game, it's just you. You're competing against you. Then there's Free Run, where you're just exploring around City Trial and going around and seeing the sights. Again, not having to worry about anything and just explore. And it's very chill and relaxing. You also get a machine area where you get access to any one of the machines you want, which is really, really cool. I like that. You even get an exclusive one, the Flight Warp Star, which is only available in free run mode. And you can also draw smoke art. That's really cool. Which I never thought about drawing smoke art with Kirby Air Riders as something you could do, but it is something you can do in free roam mode. It's just one of those weird things like DK Artist where nobody thought about it or asked for it, but it's there and you can do it. To me, it comes a bit less left field than DK Artist did because it makes sense why, especially in a free roam mode, to do that. And again, photo mode is back. Nintendo really loves their photo mode with these games. They really want you to take photos with every game you can. Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Pikmin 4, Pokemon, photo mode up the wazoo. And you know what? I'm all for it because I like taking pictures. I might actually make a video about photo mode now that I think about it. You get some new field events with City Trial, like the rare boxes where random boxes just drop down, a treasure chest where you have to find the key and unlock the treasure chest to get rewards, Grand Wheelie, a giant Grand Wheelie running around, Gordos falling from the sky. We saw that in the last direct. Everybody's UFOs where we all just transform into UFOs. And then they show off the giant freaking halberd Meta Knight ship that I remember seeing in Brawl and Smash Brothers. It's just here. A part of me wants to know, can you drive the halberd? If you could just drive the halberd for a little bit, that would be amazing. Please do it. Then they talk about stadiums where you actually have the option to just not choose a stadium and like unclick it to be like, no, I don't want to do this. And I really, really like that. Because there's so many times where it's just like, you know what? I'm really not in the mood to play this particular mode. Can we just not do it? And a lot of times you're just like, no, you're stuck with it, deal with it. But now you can just cancel it out and be like, I only want to play these ones. And I really do like it how people can like vote to do that and choose specific ones. It's really, really nice. Speaking of, we got more stadiums announced, like Button Rush, where you ride over the buttons, High Jump, where you have to do a specific high jump, a big battle where you have to get big and just crush your competition as much as possible, an oval circuit where you have to drive around this giant oval, and then they talk about verse bosses. Basically a boss mode where you're able to fight a boss of some sort. And originally in Kirby Air Ride, it was Day-to-Day, and they did that, but this time they made him robotic. You fight a giant robo Day-to-Day, and it's cool because he transforms into Day-to-Day and then he transforms into a vehicle. And he's like a freaking transformer. I love the design. I love how he looks. I love his attacks he can do. He does this huge laser thing. And I love how you can lock onto him if you're having trouble like trying to get to him. You just have to tap the right stick and there you go. You lock onto him. And they teased other bosses. It looks like they showed Nightmare from other games. I saw the orb and it looked familiar. And apparently they showed maybe Zero from Kirby 64. I can't quote that for sure. I just know I watched other people react to it and they freaked out because they saw those, they shouted those characters. Then they brought back the checklist, something that was in Smash Bros. Where you have to complete a certain amount of goals to get rewards. And they have this in Air Riders too. And they have it for online and offline in different modes. And there's so much to do. And you can get lost with trying to get all the achievements. I never really go for the checklist personally, just because there's so much to do. Oh, one of my favorite things, you get to make your own machines. Well, not make them from scratch, but paint them, customize them, give them specific colors, and add stickers to them. They show off a bunch of cool ones. My favorite one being the corn. Not only that, you can have it where you put your cart up on a shop and have it where others can buy your customizations, and you can buy other people's customizations. And the best part, you only need in-game currency. It doesn't cost anything. You get miles as commerce, and you do that from just playing the game. Same with headwear. You can get headwear for your rider that works with any rider of your choice, from like a cowboy to like a flower to all sorts of just headwear that looks adorable on our characters. And guess what? You could just get them from in-game currency. It's really nice, and I like how all riders can wear them. They look really cute. You also get gummies, which are just gummy version of vehicles. I don't quite understand it, but apparently there's a gummy mode where you could just play around with them and bring them all together, and like almost like you're bathing in them, like Scrooge McDuck bathes in coins. And I love the term Sakurai used, gum millionaire. It's very funny. I don't know why they exist, but they're cute. They're nice. I will probably collect a few of them. It seems to me like one of those things where Sakurai just made it because he could. And you know what? You do you, boo. They showed off a garage real quick where you're able to do all this stuff and customize everything, and how you can even customize your garage. They showed off the music player where you can listen to all songs from the game just like you could in Smash Brothers. They showed off the menu, which looks so sleek and clean. Apparently Sakurai's wife does the menus, and she does an amazing job, and again looks great. You also see the Kirby thing as a cursor, which is Sakurai's logo, which is on Twitter, which is really nice. And my favorite thing, options, accessibility options. They have controller mapping, they have screen options, they have color settings. I like that they're really considering accessibility, because if I'm honest, Nintendo doesn't really do accessibility that much for their games. They really should. But the fact that Sakurai is going the extra mile to have these accessibility options is amazing, and I'm really glad he's doing it. Amiibo are back, and they are huge. They did a size comparison of the Kirby regular Amiibo to the new Kirby Air Riders, and it's so big. It's so big. It's so big. And it's one of those Amiibo where you could split it apart and switch the rider with the vehicle, and it's really cool. And originally it was just Kirby and Bandana Waddle Dee. Then they announced Meta Knight, King Dedede, and Chef Kawasaki, and all of them look detailed and amazing, and I can't get any of them because they are probably $50 a piece. I will not be surprised if that Dedede one that is customizable, where you can change how the vehicle itself looks, costs like $75 or $100. I'm not kidding. These Amiibo are so expensive, and it's a shame because I want them, and they work very similar to the Amiibo in Smash Brothers, how you can get figure players. And the idea of buying a bunch and having them race each other on stream sounds like a fun idea. 5 of those would be like half of the Switch 2 alone. I can't do it. I can't pay for it, and I don't know if a lot of people can. So I'm glad they're here, but I think they're way too expensive. I do notice some Amiibo are price dropping after the Switch's launch, so maybe just wait for that. We'll see how it goes. Then they showed the story mode part of Road Trip, where they have this opening cutscene with a voiceover. And again, it looks absolutely amazing. The cutscenes and things that Sakurai does look amazing. They look spectacular. The animation's fantastic. Just seeing all these characters in this cool animation is great. Not only that, it seems like the vehicles are trying to go to a specific spot, and it's up to us to figure out what's going on. So we're going to figure it out. Again, it makes me excited for the story mode. Again, one of the many things we can do in this game. Then Sakurai finally closed the presentation, saying that this is essentially all you're going to get. There's no plans for DLC. Everything that is in the game is in the game. And this is not going to be an ongoing series of videos he's making involving updates to the game and such, like it was in Smash. I really like this, not only because he's setting clear communication, but also that it's one of the rare cases where you buy the game and the game is all there. We really don't see that often in video games nowadays anymore. There's always some DLC, or you have to pay microtransactions or things like that. No, you're getting the game. You're getting the game. They do say there will probably be a day one patch that physical players will have to download, which it's fine. That's fair. I get it. I'm still getting a physical version. I totally understand. But I'm glad that this game is just the game. We're getting what we're getting. The idea of Kirby Air Riders DLC would have been cool, but it's okay. There's enough content here to give us more than enough things. Then they did a final cutscene where they showed the Fountain of Dreams, I think, which looks absolutely gorgeous. It looked like a freaking Kingdom Hearts cutscene. I'm not gonna lie. It looked beautiful. And then they had a close-up of this robot thing, which apparently may be Clockwork Star. I don't really know Kirby lore. And then they announced an online demo dropping 2 weeks before the game. I'm looking forward to trying that out. Looks like some of them are like very early in the morning for me, so I don't know if I'm gonna really try that, but it's cool, and I'm glad it gives people a chance to play this game for themselves. I do love me a free demo. That was a lot of stuff. That was a lot of things to talk about. My God. For anyone who says this is not the holiday title of this year, I'm sorry. Listen to all this content that I just talked about. Go watch the direct for yourself. There's so much in this game, from the 4 modes you can play, to the checklist, to the costumes and vehicle customization, to unlocking the characters, to the accessibility options, to the amiibo, to the gummies, to the stadiums, to the bosses. There's so much. This game is actually worth $70. I will say it. This game is worth every penny based on what is advertised to me. Now we'll have to see what the game is like when it is played, but I trust Sakurai that he's going to deliver a quality product. From what we can tell, what we see is what we're going to get. And I'm hyped. This was already a day one buy for me. Now it's a minute one. I am so excited for this. Donkey Kong Bonanza has some Game of the Year competition, if I'm being honest here. I didn't think any game would top that this year, but this may prove me wrong. And you know what? I'm all for it. We need a game that has this much quality and dedication. I want a game with this much quality and dedication to it. Not that the games in Switch 2 are bad, but like, this is a whole new level. Even if you are not the biggest Kirby fan, if you are even remotely interested in this game, please give it a shot, or at least try it. I'm gonna be or at least try the demo. Try the demo that's coming out in a few weeks. It sounds fun. It sounds great. I am hyped, and I'm probably gonna play it day one. But those are my thoughts on the Kirby Air Riders Direct. What did you think about the hour-long presentation? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to keep making videos like this while working on big videos, and you'll hear from me soon with more of my random thoughts. See you next time. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and check out my other videos too. Also, an extra special thanks to my Patreon patrons, including Mantelferox, Blu-ray Joe 3, and Savacom. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description below, along with my Blue Sky, Twitch, and Instagram. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night.